regardless of whether you're new in the running scene or you've been logging training miles for years on end. I'm going to bet that you would probably enjoy getting a little bit more from your runs than simply the exercise benefits alone. Well, this is where the vast selection of running apps can come in handy. Now, whether your interests lie in monitoring pace and distance, perhaps enjoying the social community aspect, or using mapping tools to explore new routes, or maybe even adding in music to give you some more motivation, believe me, there is an app out there for you. So today, I'm going to run you through my thoughts on our favourite running apps to help along the way. So, by installing a good running app on your phone, the built-in sensors on it are going to enable you to track basic metrics like distance, pace, speed, calories burned, and some apps will even be able to track and map out your route as you're running too, but do be mindful of checking where that data is stored for privacy reasons. But then, of course, you can take that to another level again by using one of the many smartwatches, GPS watches, fitness trackers, and pairing those with your running apps that you've chosen. And all of a sudden, you're going to have a mobile data center that can collect all of that information, ready to graph and chart your stats to hopefully show how they're improving over time. So, with that being said, which of these apps should we be considering for our running? Right then, I'll get straight into this with my personal favourite, and that is Strava. Now, I know I'm not alone because it's extremely popular with cyclists, triathletes and runners alike the world over. And Strava offers in-depth GPS tracking, works with a variety of GPS devices, and like many apps these days is entirely compatible with both iOS and Android devices. Now, I have been using Strava for many years, and I guess for a couple of key reasons. And firstly, that's because I like having all of my bike and run workouts in one simple to view location. I also like the fact that I can track my running mileage from week to week really easily and monitor metrics like my heart rate during key sessions, or at least when I was doing key sessions when I was racing. But all in all, it allows me to treat it like a training diary, which I just really enjoy. But secondly, it's because I'm really quite nosy and I like to see what other people are doing in my surrounding area or even in other places around the world where I used to go and get some training done. Now, I guess that is the community aspect of Strava that is really engaging, and another tool that is really well known on the Strava platform is its segments feature. Now, this segments feature allows you to compare yourself to any other runner who has been over the same routes as you, whether that be out on the trails or in the streets or on the roads. And if you really wish, you can compare yourself to top world-class athletes or pros who might also have run those segments too. Now, Strava also has a paid-for aspect to it too, under what they call their Summit membership, and features that bring this to the next level include in-depth analysis of those segments, plus access to detailed leaderboards in those segments too. You can also allow up to 3 people who don't have to be Strava users to have access to your real-time whereabouts, which is a safety feature that Strava call Beacon. And another feature, which actually is only on their desktop, but I do really quite like, is their heat maps. Now, this allows you to see exactly where you've been running and running the most often, plus where others in your area have been running too, which is a really useful way of being able to try and plot some new routes. Now, on the notion of plotting new routes, that takes me on to my next app, which is Komoot. Now, another feature of Strava Summit is that it has a route builder function built in, and Komoot is another app that we have used a lot on the channel to help build new routes and plan different places to go running. Now, this is something that's particularly useful if you're in an area that is unfamiliar to you, and I know for one that Mark has had a lot of fun using Komoot to plan new routes. But another very cool function of this app is that it's able to give you advance warning of any changes in terrain. So say the surface is going to go from smooth tarmac onto rough rocky trail, it'll give you a heads up, and the same again for any elevation changes too. And this is a feature that is unique to Komoot and you won't be able to find elsewhere. Now, before I finish up talking about mapping features, perhaps you require something a little bit more advanced and are fancying venturing into, shall we say, more uncharted territories. Well, if that's the case, some friends of mine suggested Outdoor Active, which does have a basic setup which allows you to plan, print and navigate some routes. But for a small monthly fee, it can give a Pro membership which allows access to highly detailed country-specific maps, the likes of Swiss Topo in Switzerland, IGN in France, and here in the UK, the Ordnance Survey Network. Now, another extremely useful feature to this app is that it allows you access to these planned routes if you are completely offline and out of internet connection, which, let's be honest, might often be the case in more off-the-beaten-track areas. Okay, so what about the big name running brands? Well, yes, many of them do have their own running apps, and for many runners out there that are just starting, this can seem like an obvious connection to make between the running shoes that you have and the app that you want to choose. So with that being said, what is it that some of them have to offer? Well, firstly, we've got Map My Run from Under Armour. Now, whether you are just wanting to choose a run because you fancy a change of scenery in the area that you usually run, or maybe you're in a completely new location and don't know where you're going, then this offering from Under Armour is likely to be a really good option worth considering. Not only does it have a comprehensive tracker to record all of your basic metrics, but also gives you access to a vast array of millions of running routes the world over. Or you can also go on their website to plan your own route to then download. And also another interesting factor of this app is that you can sync it with MyFitnessPal to link together your training and your diet habits to get a much clearer overall picture of your health. However, possibly the most popular such app is the Nike Run Club, and without doubt, the standout feature of this app is that it is completely free. There are no extra payments required, meaning you get an all-in-one platform that not only gives you tracking services like the distance, pace, and speed, but it also gives you audio coached and guided run workouts too, plus some fun stuff like motivational comments and cheers from top Nike athletes when you get to the end of your runs. But you can also connect to music streaming services like Spotify and Apple Music to overlay those audio guided workouts with your favorite playlist, which essentially gives you the best of both worlds. Now, sticking with apps that are completely free to use, the Couch to 5K planner is hugely popular, especially here in the UK, and it does exactly what it says on the tin. Now, this National Health Service promoted planner gives you an ability to go from being a complete novice through to accomplishing a 5K. Now, this is achieved by 3 weekly runs that build from starting with as little as 60 seconds of running at any one time. Now, often the biggest hurdle for a novice runner is knowing how or where to start with their running or not doing too much. So this plan takes all of the guesswork out of it, and all you have to do is stick with it and you'll hit that 5K. Now, so far I've just covered running in the outdoors, but what if you want to track running indoors on the treadmill? Well, this is where the virtual world of Zwift comes into its own. Now you can simply attach a FootPod sensor onto your running shoes, or even better, if you've got access to a Bluetooth enabled treadmill, that means you can then connect to the app and then you're ready to run in those virtual worlds of Zwift. Now, you can just run in these virtual worlds such as the jungles of Watopia, or maybe more urban routes in London and based in New York. Or you can alternatively decide to opt for one of the structured workouts that are inside the app, or also there's many different group workouts that run every day. And it is also worth noting that the cycling side of Zwift is still a paid for function, but that isn't the case for running on the platform, so that is worth making the most of for now. Now, I touched on the integration of music in the Nike app a little bit earlier, but Weave Run is another option available. Now, what it does is it matches the beat of music to your footfall. So it's very cleverly able to know your cadence and speed up as you run faster. And crucially, if you're starting to slow down and flag a little, then you should notice that feedback in your ears as the music drops in pace. Now, admittedly, this does sound a little bit odd and it might not be for everybody, but I can see how this might help to energize and motivate you should you normally think about stopping a run a bit early. Now, I appreciate there's any number of apps out there for tracking, mapping, and motivating you to get more out of your run, and I could have included many more. I mean, there's even the gamification of running called Zombies Run. Now, if you've used that one or any others you think I could know about, then please drop them in the comments below. But I think for me, it'll be a creature of habit and sticking with Strava for now. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video, so please give it a thumb up, like, and don't forget to follow us on our social media channels and subscribe to get all of our other videos.